They call me the doctor who grew old beside his patients. I was born in America, trained with stethoscopes and schedules, but I chose to age in Japan where respect for elders is still whispered in bowing greetings, and where a shared bowl of miso is sometimes the best medicine of all. I have spent more than 40 years walking barefoot through the tatami-floored homes of the elderly. I've listened to final wishes, held trembling hands, and helped thousands pass from life to death with dignity. But 2 years ago, I did something different. I moved into a nursing home. Not because I was sick, not because I had no one to care for me, but because I needed to understand something that medical charts and case studies could never show me. I needed to feel what my patients feel. I was 77 years old, and for 2 months, I became one of them. What I learned shook me, softened me, and changed me forever. Today, I want to tell you that story, and I hope it speaks not only to your mind but to your heart. The day I gave up my keys. I remember the morning I packed 2 shirts, a pair of slippers, a small notebook. I left my apartment quietly and checked into a mid-sized nursing home on the outskirts of Nagano. No one there knew I was a doctor. I was just Kondo-san, another elderly man whose legs were slower than they once were. The staff greeted me warmly. The room was clean. The food smelled of rice and pickled vegetables. And yet, as I lay on the firm mattress that first night, I felt something I hadn't felt in decades. Uselessness. No one needed my advice. No one asked me questions. No one knew my history. I was no longer Dr. Raymond Kondo. I was room 207. Lesson 1. Time changes its weight. Inside the home, days stretched. Minutes swelled. Breakfast at 7. Meds at 9. Bingo at 2. Lights off at 8. For the first few days, it felt peaceful, structured, predictable. But by the end of the first week, I realized something that broke my heart. There is too much silence in these places. Not the silence of peace. The silence of waiting. Waiting for someone to visit. Waiting for a nurse to help with socks. Waiting for the body to stiffen just a bit more. Waiting for the end. I spoke with a woman named Reiko. She was 81. Her children lived 3 hours away. They called once a week. She said, "I used to be a teacher. Now I feel like a ghost no one remembers." Time, in a nursing home, is no longer measured in years. It is measured in how many days have passed since someone looked into your eyes without checking a chart. Lesson 2. Dependence changes identity. I have spent my entire life helping others, lifting patients into bed, holding canes, recommending exercises. But the first time I needed help buttoning my shirt, I felt shame. That shame grew when a young nurse helped me to the toilet. She was kind, gentle, professional, but I hated the feeling of being watched. Later, I met a man named Hiroshi. He had once been a banker, impeccably dressed, precise in speech. He whispered to me in the hallway. I used to sign documents that moved millions of yen. Now I wait 40 minutes for someone to clip my nails. His voice trembled. In nursing homes, the smallest tasks are no longer yours. And when that happens, your sense of self begins to crumble, thread by thread. Lesson 3. Nutrition is not just fuel, it's memory. The food was healthy. Soft rice, miso soup, steamed fish, boiled greens. But something was missing. Soul. I spoke with a woman who once ran a soba shop. Her name was Tama. She said, "When I eat their food, I feel full but not fed. When I made my own miso, it reminded me of my mother." Food in nursing homes is often designed for safety, low salt, easy to chew, easy to prepare. But in that process, we strip it of joy, history, and meaning. After 2 weeks, I began skipping dinner. I wasn't hungry. I was homesick. Lesson 4. Movement is life. In my years as a physician, I've preached the importance of walking. Every step keeps the blood flowing, the joints mobile, the spirit high. In the home, movement becomes supervised. Walk here. Stop there. Sit now. I watched strong men become bent in just weeks. Women who once danced in festivals now wheeled to the garden once a week. One man, Kenji, was 76. "They say it's too dangerous to walk alone," he said. "But falling isn't the danger. Sitting forever is." He was right. When movement is taken from you not by illness, but by policy, you begin to forget how to use your legs. And the legs, like memory, fade fast when not used. Lesson 5. Conversation is medicine. The staff was kind, truly, but they were busy. They helped dress, wash, serve meals, but they rarely lingered. The most healing moments I experienced during my stay were not when my blood pressure was checked or my blanket tucked. It was when someone sat beside me and said, "Tell me about your wife." I shared stories of our first years in Tokyo, of the patient I held as he took his last breath, of the time I saw snow fall on a bamboo grove and wept without knowing why. Those conversations reminded me I was still human, still a man with a past, not just a patient with a wristband. What the science says. Everything I felt inside that nursing home has been confirmed by research. Social isolation increases the risk of heart attack and stroke by over 30%. Loss of autonomy accelerates cognitive decline. Sedentary behavior in long-term care leads to rapid muscle wasting and poor circulation. Bland institutional diets are linked to weight loss, depression, and malnutrition in elders. Lack of meaningful engagement increases the risk of dementia and mortality. These are not guesses. These are facts. And yet, most nursing homes are not built to protect against these realities. They manage health, but they do not foster life. What I learned and what you can do. After 2 months, I returned home. My apartment felt brighter, my kettle louder, my rice more alive. I began cooking again. I stretched beside my window. I called friends I had not spoken to in years. But most importantly, I began asking every patient over 71 question. Who makes you feel alive? Not who takes care of you. Not what pills are you on. But who makes you feel like living another year, another season? Because in the end, life is not measured in medications or monitored blood pressure. It is measured in mornings you look forward to, in food that tastes like memory, in people who see you, not your frailty. Final words from Dr. Raymond Kondo. I went into that nursing home to observe, but I came out with a deeper understanding of what it means to age with dignity. And here is what I now believe. You don't need to fear nursing homes. You need to prepare your life so that, even inside one, you can still feel human. If you're caring for someone elderly, just keep them safe. Keep them seen. If you're growing older yourself, don't wait to be cared for. Start building a life now that protects your independence, your movement, and your joy. If this story opened your eyes or gave you something to reflect on, please like this video, comment below with your experience or your fears, and subscribe to the channel for more honest, heart-centered, and life-tested insights from a doctor who chose to walk through old age not just with his mind but with his whole being.